I'm not defensive about it.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Chelsea news video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. And as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And in today's news video, the transfer market may be closed, but there's still other markets open. Saudi Arabia, Greece, Turkey, to name a few. And we're going to be going through the latest with Angelo, the latest on that man, Victor Osimhen. Yes, there is more news on him, plus the latest on CADAY and David Datro Fofana as well, amongst other topics. But let's dive into it then. Let's start with the main news from today then, and that is that Chelsea look like they are set to sell Angelo to Al-Nassr for 23 million euros. Fabrizio Romano bringing us the latest on the deal here. Al-Nassr are closing in on a deal to sign Angelo from Chelsea. Package worth around 23 million euros, almost agreed. Final detail to sort is a sell-on clause as requested by Chelsea. Almost there. Here we go soon. Now, I remember saying on a live show a while back that I didn't think Angelo would ever play for Chelsea. And I don't want to sit here and say I told you so. But guys, I told you. This guy was never going to play for us. I know we signed him last summer. He looks promising in pre-season under Pochettino. He played a little bit, I think, in pre-season this time round under Maresca. Not very much. He was linked with a move to Besiktas earlier this summer. That didn't materialise. And obviously, there was talk of him going back on loan to Strasbourg. That didn't happen either. And now it seems like after just 1 year, we're going to be selling him for around a £6 million profit, considering we signed him for 12.6 million. And he's going to go off to Al-Nassr and be teammates with Cristiano Ronaldo. Another young Brazilian in Wesley has also completed a move to Al-Nassr from, I think, Corinthians, if I'm not mistaken. And Al-Nassr wanted Angelo to fill the last space in their squad for their under-21 foreign players quota. Now we're set to turn a tidy 6 million profit for someone who hasn't played a single competitive game for the club. He did well in pre-season under Poch, featured sparingly in a pre-season under Maresca this time round. And on loan at Strasbourg last season, he scored no goals. So this is a player that at 19 years of age has obviously got talent, but he's a million miles away from the first team picture at Chelsea. And the fact that after one okay-ish loan spell at Strasbourg, we're in a situation where we can actually turn him for a £6 million profit, which is quite impressive, I must say. It is quite impressive. But, you know, I'm not about this sort of wheeler dealing thing, you know, this high volume of players in, high volumes of players out. But that's what this new model is going to be. And there's going to be more players that are signed on long-term contracts that are going to come for a season, maybe have a loan, and then be sold, and then be sold for a profit without even kicking a ball for the football club. There are going to be plenty more of them that happens to. And I know some people were saying, you know, they think that Angelo maybe should have had a chance in the first team. The reality is this guy wasn't good enough. I know he didn't have much of a chance, but he clearly wasn't good enough. He wasn't better than the options that were ahead of him. And the arrivals of Neto, Felix and Sancho this summer put pay to any chance of him getting anywhere near the first team for any sort of reasonable kind of minutes. So yeah, it's always a shame when you sort of invest in young players, you bring them in, you don't really give them an opportunity, and then they're sold on for a profit. But that's something we're going to have to get used to under this new ownership. That's why I don't get too worked up or too annoyed about these kind of transfers when we're signing young players from Brazil or from wherever they might be, because I know that with certain transfers, they're never going to play for the club, and the aim is to sell them for a profit. So I don't waste too much time getting worked up about them. But it looks like that Angelo is on his way to Al-Nassr. That is closing in. Chelsea set up for a profit. It is what it is. We wish him the best. There will definitely be due some money somewhere down the line. He's not going to spend his career at Al-Nassr. They'll probably sell him for a profit, and we'll be in for a cash windfall from any potential sell-on clause. So I wish Angelo all the best. We're not really going to know what we're missing because we never saw him play for us. And we move on from there. And he certainly won't be the only one that falls foul to this new Chelsea way of doing things. I wanted to speak on Victor Osimhen. The guys obviously didn't decide to join Chelsea, but in an interesting turn of events, it's become apparent that he is closing in on a move to Galatasaray, which is quite shocking to me. Galatasaray have reached an agreement in principle with Napoli over a loan deal for Victor Osimhen. 1 year loan, salary covered, complete salary covered by Galatasaray, as Napoli have accepted these conditions. The Galatasaray delegation to meet with Osimhen and Napoli in the next hours for a final green light on the move. So all they're waiting for now is Osimhen's decision on the move, the green light from him. Everything is agreed with Galatasaray. They're going to cover all of the wages. And it just sort of makes you think, you know, it's kind of mad. Osimhen got his bumper new contract on whatever it was, just shy of 300 grand a week or something allowed that. He stayed at Napoli. They put the release clause in. We know all this. No one met his release clause this summer. What is it? PSG agreed terms, but they couldn't agree a fee with Napoli. And then, Al Ali came in, we came in. And what I want to say is, guys, I don't want to hear anyone sticking up for Victor Osimhen. I don't want to hear a single person say this guy was desperate to join Chelsea. He was desperate to come to the Premier League. It was his dream. I don't want to hear John Obi Mikel chatting shit that Osimhen wants to come to Chelsea. He loves Chelsea. He's desperate to join. No, he's not. No, he fucking wasn't. The fact that he was prepared to go to the Turkish league and play Europa League football for Galatasaray, right? Or because he's going to get the same wages that he's on at Napoli, rather than Chelsea, just goes to show that it's all about money for him, and it always has been about money for him. Chelsea offered him wages that were in keeping with the structure, and he's now ending up going to what? I don't know what sort of league the Turkish league is in terms of where it's ranked in Europe. It's definitely not in the top 5. Maybe it's like a 6th or 7th tier league in Europe. And we just got to say it how it is, guys. I don't care if people like Osimhen or don't like Osimhen, or how good a footballer he is or how good a footballer he isn't. Let's call it how it is, people. Let's have it right. He just wanted the money. This wasn't about him wanting Chelsea. This was about him and his greedy agent, who he needs to sack, by the way, because they've had an absolute howler this summer, wanting to make the most money possible. And that's absolutely fine if you want to make the most money possible. But I'm sorry, you cannot take him seriously as an individual. And now his football career is taking a downward spiral, and people are going to think twice about making moves for him. And at the end of the day, he could have maybe done something, maybe built a legacy for himself. He could still do that potentially, but he is going to go down right now as just another talented player who chose to go for the money over his career. And I'm sorry, that might sound harsh, but that is the brutal reality of the situation here. He could have joined Chelsea on loan. We offered that option on the table. He could have come to us loan with obligation. He could have accepted less money to come and play for Chelsea, supposedly his dream. He didn't do that. And now he's seemingly going to go and play in Turkey. And the whole thing's just a complete joke. It's a complete and utter shambles. And I can't take this guy seriously. Lost a lot of respect for him. You get one career, you get one shot of things. You go and do what you want to do. But the fact you've prioritized money over your career, that's on you. Fair enough. That's what you want to do. But, your footballing legacy and kind of what you've done is going to be viewed very differently now with the way that you've conducted yourself this summer. So for me, good riddance from a Chelsea perspective. I just get a big Lukaku vibes from him and his agent. I could be totally wrong on that, but that's just a feeling that I get. And I'm just glad that we can draw a complete line under this whole Victor Osimhen saga. Don't have to speak about him anymore. Don't have to talk about him joining Chelsea. I don't want to ever hear people mentioning his name with Chelsea again. This brother does not want to join us. It was all about the money for him. Always has been about the money. And let's see where he ends up playing the following season. Let's see if anyone actually comes in for him the following summer or not, because I think he's burnt a lot of bridges. His reputation in football has definitely gone down. And I'm looking forward to hearing what Mikel's got to say about his guy, because his guy that was desperate to join Chelsea, I'm texting him all the time, come to Chelsea. He wants to join. Bro, I'm looking forward to hearing your podcast and what you've got to say about your guy who has chosen money over following his dream. That's all I've got to say on that. So Osimhen sent to join Galatasaray. Washing my hands with this guy. Done. Don't want to hear people talking about him ever again in regards to Chelsea. And we move on from there. And if he wants to ruin his career, you carry on, my brother. You carry on. Moving on to a couple of other bits and pieces then. Chelsea are set to keep Cesare CADAY at the club, which is certainly interesting. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't really expecting him to remain at the club, but according to Fabrizio Romano, CADAY is not expected to leave Chelsea in the final days of the other transfer markets that are open. He will stay. Then the January window will see his future. Now, CADAY signed with new agents, Epic Sports. I think that was announced today. But it's certainly an interesting one, because I don't see where he fits in at all. Is he just here for squad depth? He's just here as an emergency option, potentially. I know he was on the bench against Crystal Palace, and it's the first time he's been in the matchday squad this season. So it's a little bit of a strange one as far as I'm concerned. I don't see where he's going to play. It's very congested for minutes there. Even in the Conference League, he didn't make either of the benches for the Servette games. And the likes of Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Lavia, Dewsbury Hall, You know, if Cole Palmer plays deeper and Kunku plays an attacking 8 or whatever, there doesn't seem to be any room for any minutes there. And surely he's not going to be playing under 21s football. So I don't quite understand what the plan is for Chelsea in regards to Cesare CADAY and what they're thinking is going to happen to him and his development until January. Maybe they think just training with Maresca, training with the group is going to be good for his development. Maybe getting a few minutes here and there, if he's lucky, is going to be the best thing for him. I'm really unconvinced on that point. I'm wholly unconvinced on that point, and I really don't know. I really don't know what to expect. Really don't know what to expect from him in the future. But it's clear. But it's clear how he's obviously not part of the plans. He will be another one that gets flipped on for a profit. And we're just got to wait and see where he goes next. There were links to Fiorentina earlier in the summer. That didn't materialise. But for me, as far as I'm concerned, there's no way this guy's got a long-term future at Chelsea, given his level compared to others and given how many people are actually in front of him in the pecking order. So I'm surprised that a solution has not been found this summer. But maybe with his new agents, they're going to be looking at it between now and January, and they're going to find a new solution for him in January, and he'll move on then. In regards to other players, I think Ben Chilwell's set to stay at the club. There's no news on him whatsoever in terms of an outgoing. I don't think he's going to go into any of the remaining markets that are open. And then, of course, David Datro Fofana is potentially could be moving to AEK Athens. There was a delegation from Athens at Stamford Bridge yesterday discussing a move. I don't really know why Datro Fofana is not maybe given a chance in the first team squad. You know, you can't tell me that Mark Guiu is better than Datro Fofana at this point in time. I don't believe he is. Maybe you could have a different option with Datro Fofana from the bench. He's only played 4 games for the football club. Obviously bought in to be sold on for a profit. I don't know how much money we would really make on him. But it looks like he could be going to AEK Athens. But again, the clock's ticking on these deadlines and these other windows. And we don't know how long it's going to take for these guys to get these moves sorted. And if Datro Fofana remains, then it's just going to be a complete waste of time for him and for Chelsea, because he's not going to be playing for 6 months. And it's going to ultimately harm his career as well. It's going to harm Chelsea's chances of getting a decent price from him and potentially making a profit. But these are the pitfalls of this way of doing things, that if you can't find moves for these players and they don't play, they're going to lose value, and then you're not going to make a profit on them, which is what you're looking to do. So this is why I'm not a fan of this high volume in, high volume out sort of thing, because you are going to get unstuck on many occasions. And I think it's very much an approach where if you throw enough shit at the wall, some will stick and some won't. And that's just kind of the way that it moves. But yeah, guys, that's my thoughts on the latest Chelsea news, just bringing you up to date on everything that's going on in the world of Chelsea. As always, people, smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you again in another one soon. Up the Chelsea, and peace out.